Good morning, students. Today's topic is internal organization of the business. So, how businesses organize themselves internally. We are going to read. So, concentrate yourself. Organization is very important because workers need to know what jobs they are supposed to do, who is in charge of them, who they are in charge of, and how they relate to the wider organization. So these are the points due to which workers need to know, and organization is very important. This can be shown on the organizational chart. So what is organizational chart? Figure below shows the simplified organizational chart for a business. So this is the chart which is showing who is the subordinate and who is the boss, and who is on the top, who is on the bottom. So this is the organizational chart. So this is actually the figure showing the internal structure of the business. At the top of the hierarchy, so this full structure is called hierarchy. The series of the layers in the organization is the group managing director. Next in the hierarchy are 5 managers. So if you can look at the graph again, so on the top we are having group managing director. Under him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 managers are working, including the project sales manager and the work manager. At the bottom of the hierarchy are the shop floor workers. So bottom are store personals and shop floor personals. So they are at the bottom of the hierarchy. Each worker, apart from the group managing director, has a line manager. So line manager is the person to whom they are reporting to. Most businesses are organized by function. This means that business is organized according to what people in the organization do. So what is their function? So they are organized by function. Because there tend to be more people the lower down you go in the organization, a hierarchy is often said to be a pyramid. The next topic in the lecture is the chain of the command. The path or chain down which orders or commands are passed is called chain of command. So this is actually the chain through which orders are passed. For example, on the top we are having managing director. So his orders will be passed to works manager, then to senior production engineer, and then to shop floor worker. So this is actually the chain of command in this figure or in this hierarchy. So the group managing director is in authority over the managers. He can give orders to workers lower down the hierarchy, his subordinates. For instance, he could tell the work managers to increase his production this week. Next is the length of the chain of the command. Figure above shows that there are 5 layers in the hierarchy. So if you look at the figure again, there are 5 levels: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 levels are there. Next topic in the lecture is the length of the chain of the command. The figure above shows there are 5 layers in the hierarchy from the group managing director through to the shop floor personnel or administration staff. We are looking back at the figure. So this is the first layer, managing director. From him the orders will be passed to this. This is second level. This is third level, senior production manager. Then foreman is the fourth level, and here is the shop floor worker. This is the fifth level. So this is the thing which we are reading now. Figure above shows there are 5 layers in the hierarchy from the group managing director through to the shop floor personals or the administration staff. The longer the chain of the command, the more difficulties a business can face. Why? So these are the reasons. Messages can can get lost or distorted as they go up and down the chain of the command, rather as in a game of the Chinese whispers. So if you have played this game, you better understand that the messages from the first person to the last person normally distorted. So if the chain of the command is very long, the messages can be lost or distorted. The second reason is if the chain of the command is long, managing change can be another problem. The longer the chain of the command, the more groups there are to resist the change. So these are the problems if the chain of the command is long. The next topic in the lecture is delayering. The definition is removing layers of the management and workers in a hierarchy so that there are fewer workers in the chain of the command. So this is called delayering if we have removed some layers from the hierarchy, or there are fewer workers are working in the organization. This is called delayering. In this way, business pushing responsibility and decision making down the line. So this is the first function of the delayering. Definitely, if there are fewer workers working in the organizations doing the same job as the other organization is doing with the greater number of the workers, so definitely responsibility and decision making will be more. This empowerment of the workers can motivate them more. This is the result of the delayering. However, it usually means that workers have to be better trained to cope with the extra responsibilities. So this is very important, because if they are given empowerment, so definitely they must have better trained and cope with the extra responsibilities. Workers might have to be paid more because they are doing more now, because they are doing a more responsible job. Delayering should lead to workers becoming more productive, but the condition is they should be better trained. Definitely, if they are better trained and if they are doing more, they will be more productive. Fewer workers are needed to do the same amount of the work. They are being shown trust and can use their own talents and skills more. So these are the results of the delayering. Businesses can then downsize, making workers redundant while producing as much as before. Next topic in the lecture is the span of the control. The number of the people that a worker directly controls is called a span of the control. The span of the control, how big? So this is $1,000,000 question. What should be the span of the control? But it depends on the circumstances. The span of the control varies depending upon circumstances. The more complex the supervision task, the smaller the span of the control, because if the task is very tough, definitely span of the control should be smaller. The supervision task can be complex if checking work is difficult and time consuming. It can also be more complex if the workers which need supervising are not particularly good at their jobs. So these are some reasons. If the task is complex and tough, the span of the control should be smaller. Next point is the span of the control has to be small if communication with subordinates is time consuming. So if your communication is very time consuming, the span of the control should be smaller. The better the supervisors, the more people he or she can supervise. So definitely if the supervisor is well trained, educated and experienced, he can handle more and more workers. The more the supervisor delegates his or her work, the greater can be the span of the control. Definitely if his or her team is very good, well trained, well experienced, educated, so the managing director can delegate his work to the subordinates. Delegation means passing down responsibilities to subordinates to complete tasks. Delegation frees up a supervisor's time to supervise the work of more workers. The next topic in the lecture is the formal groups. Employees of businesses are organized into departments and sections. Example of the formal groups. So if the business has divided the business into departments and sections, so these groups will be called formal groups. These are the groups set up by the organization to carry out tasks. There are many advantages to organizing work through formal groups. Number one advantage of formal groups are each group and possibly even each worker within a group can specialize, leading to higher output and lower cost because everyone in the group will know his or her responsibility. So that's why their output can be increased and lower costs can occur. The second advantage of the formal groups are the groups has a clear position within the organizational structure of the business. They know what is their position, to whom they are responsible, and to whom they are the boss. This means that other groups know which group to turn to when they needed help. For instance, finance matters can be referred to the project sales manager. Knowing who is doing what in an organization saves time and therefore ensures lower cost. Next benefit is communication in the organization is helped. Again, because there is a clear structure, because structure is very clear, so communication will be very helpful and very easy. Everyone knows their duty and everyone knows who is the subordinate, who is the supervisor, so communication will be very clear. Next advantage of the formal group is workers can act as a team, receive support from others in the group, and also have their work supervised. So these are the advantages of the formal groups. Next topic in the lecture is informal groups. An informal group is a group which is not set up by the organization but comes into existence by itself. A group of friends at a business who play squash together would be an example. Informal groups can be good for business. People who form a group tend to get on well together and may work better as a result. Informal groups can sometimes lead to information getting through, which otherwise would get clogged up in an inefficient chain of the command. So if the chain of the command is inefficient, definitely some workers will not be able to understand the things better. But in informal groups, they can discuss the things with each other and things will be more clear. So this is the advantage of the informal group. Informal groups can also be bad for the business. Most medium to large businesses have groups of the people who spend their time together, mourning about other workers and bad decision making by their boss. So these are the disadvantages of the informal groups. They normally gossips. They normally mourning about other workers and bad decision making by their boss. The group may set out to prevent needed change in the business because the members of the group don't want that change. So informal groups have advantages as well as disadvantages. At the end of the lecture, we are having some key terms that will be very helpful for your exams. First key term is chain of the command. This is the path or chain down which orders or commands are passed. In a company, this goes from the board of the directors down to shop floor workers. Next key term is delayering, removing layers of the management and workers in a hierarchy so that there are fewer workers in the chain of the command. Next key term is delegation. This is passing down of authority for work to another worker further down the hierarchy of the organization. Next key term is downsizing. When a business employs fewer workers to produce the same amount through increases in productivity, which can be achieved through delayering. Next key term is empowerment, giving more responsibility to workers further down the chain of the command in a hierarchy. Next key term is formal group, a group created by an organization to complete a specific task. Next key term is function. Functions are tasks or jobs. Organization by function means the business is organized according to tasks that have to be completed, such as production or finance. Next key term is hierarchy. Structure of different levels of the authority in a business organization, one on top of the other. Next key term is informal group, a group of the people who join together outside the formal structure of an organization. Next key term is line manager, employee who is responsible for overseeing the work of others further down the hierarchy of an organization. Next key term is organization, the way in which a business is structured for it to achieve its objectives. Next key term is organization chart, a diagram which shows the internal structure of an organization. Next key term is role, a job or work given to a worker which he/she is expected to complete. Next key term is span of control, the number of the people who report directly to another worker in a supervision position. Next key term is subordinate, workers in the hierarchy who work under the control of a more senior worker. So this was the topic. Make your notes. Thank you so much.